What's going on, guys? We back at it again, man. We coming to you with all the gaming news that's been going on. There's been a lot of it. An absurd amount of it. We're going to get into this right now. One of the first things we're going to jump straight into it. You guys know how I feel about events. You know, out of everything I cover every year, around that, like, I don't even know. We don't even call it E3 these days, but it's that E3 time slot. The June, July time slot, maybe mainly June, but that June time slot where all these companies are coming out there, they're showing us their new games, they're showing us what they have in store, maybe some new services, some new hardware. To me, and to a lot of people, E3 was like our Super Bowl of gaming, even though I don't know what the Super Bowl is like in sports. I don't know, maybe some of you guys that watch sports and gaming could tell me if at E3 at its height, was it the same as Super Bowl? I don't know. I would say we got you, but I couldn't make that analogy because I don't watch sports. But it was always my favorite thing. I always wanted to get the newer audience to see what we're going to be playing, newer games, especially around games coming out and especially hardware coming out. You know, at the beginning of a new generation, June is always amazing. We normally find out price points. There's a lot of aspects that we go into, especially when it comes to newer hardware, that we find out during that time frame. Well, this year's no different. We are hearing from a lot of sources, and, you know, some with Jeff Grubb. Now, obviously, Jeff Grubb, is he right 100% of the right time? No, he's not. But I think we can all agree Jeff Grubb has been right enough to at least listen to what he has to say. Now, when it comes to insiders or anyone that likes to leak information, don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe anything you hear. Always wait for the official announcement. But I will say, you know, it's eyebrow raising. You know, oh, that's cool. You can talk about it. You can speculate. That's fine. But don't assume it's real. Clearly, you know, we've learned that with previous things that, you know, sometimes it is good to wait to the official announcements in some scenarios. We're not going to go too much into that. But Gears of War. Now, I know a lot of people have been waiting for a Gears of War game, you know, and then some people don't even care anymore. I particularly don't like the multiplayer in Gears of War, but I enjoy the single player of what I played in 4 and 5. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the decision making that happened in 5. We won't really go into detail because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm sure some of you can guess what I'm talking about. Put in the comment section below who you chose. Now, people, it's going to be spoiler alerts. If you look in that comment section, it's yo ass. But I'm actually very curious on how they handle that situation and what's going on with the game. That's what I want to know. I want the conclusion of the Gears of War franchise because I was really interested because I'm the person that jumped into the franchise at 4. And obviously I've been told that, you know, it's a gaming sin to have jumped into Gears at Gears 4, but I didn't live through the Gears 1 through 3 hype and Judgment, which a lot of people say don't like Judgment. It is what it is. I don't know. But I wasn't there. I feel like there's certain moments in gaming history where you have to be there. You have to be there to really appreciate it. And I wasn't there day one. Now I was gaming. It just wasn't that game. So I'm excited for Gear 6. I think Gear 6 will be a phenomenal thing to play. I think after Gear 6, as long as they end on a good note, maybe it's time Coalition do something different. Black Tusk Studio. Wonder how many people understood that reference in the comment section below. I don't know, man. People sit there and they say, you know, that they want these studios to make something new, and I agree. But with Coalition and Gears, for that particular moment, I'm actually on the side where I feel like let's let them finish what they started. They're 2 games in. At this point, let them finish that 3rd game. It looks like we might get the next Gears of War announcement in 2024. You know, that game showcase that's going to be in June. And most likely it will come out next year. I would be very surprised because here recently, They haven't really been showing a game and then waiting years and years for it to come out. Now, this is probably going to be an opener or closer, so this is probably an exception where they will show a trailer here, next year gameplay, and the year after that is when you actually play the game. But I wouldn't be surprised, because look at Indiana Jones. Obviously, that's Bethesda. It's a different scenario. But I wouldn't be surprised that they take that approach, too, where this game's been in development for a while. I can't remember. 2019, I think? Isn't that when it came out? Someone put in the comment section below if that's when it come out. Let's educate everyone, man. But watch out for those spoilers down there. So I'm very curious to see how much of this game they have come through. Now, obviously, this is through the pandemic as well. This is a pandemic game. So it's going to be very curious to see exactly what's going to happen with this game this year. You know, one of the crazy parts that I'm seeing here lately is there was actually a report that was done, and it was by newzoo.com. And according to them, Starfield was the only single-player game to appear in the top 10 games by average MAU in 2023 by Bethesda. Especially in a games as a service dominated space. That's kind of crazy. I didn't really want to talk about this a whole lot, but I do want... Look, Starfield had a lot of issues, and I think we can all admit that Starfield was underwhelming in a lot of areas that, especially people like myself that's a huge Bethesda fan. I love the Fallouts, the Elder Scrolls. We wanted something with Starfield, and I personally feel like it didn't deliver on every scale that I had. Now, it was a good game, and I enjoyed it, and I would say it was one of the best games of last year. Not my game of the year, but it was definitely one of the best games of last year. But with this report, I don't know exactly everything going into this, but it just shows that Starfield wasn't a failure. I've made a few videos on the thing. Starfield did good last year, guys. Like, we gotta stop this rhetoric that a lot of people are trying to go about, saying that Starfield was a huge, major failure, and I just don't agree with that. I just don't. And with this, even though that there was a lot of good games that came out last year, it was 2023, guys. That much. 2023, and this game was still able to be the only game to appear in the top 10 games by average MAU. So it is cool. I didn't think it was anything that we can really, gloat about, but it is one of those, metrics that shows that Starfield in a lot of ways was successful, especially to, Xbox. Another thing that I saw today, and I wanted to talk about it, early in the year, there was a lot of rumors going around that the next Halo is going to be shown this year. And I thought that was interesting because it's been a few years since Halo Infinite dropped. And I thought we could definitely see some form of trailer for it. It's definitely not coming out this year. I would say it's probably a 2026 game. Maybe a launch title for the next console. The third time's the charm. Let's try to get this Halo out for the launch title. It's kind of crazy how many games that they might potentially have for the next gen hardware. So when you look at something like this and you look at what's going on, what I'm going to show you guys is randomly, and I don't know exactly if this happened a lot. You're needed on the battlefield, Spartan. Power your dreams with Xbox Series X. I find it very interesting that they're promoting the console with Halo when I feel like there's so much stuff that you can promote this. There's a lot of things that you can promote Halo with this year. You don't necessarily, the Xbox Series X with, you don't necessarily have to go for Halo. So it is interesting to me that they're choosing to bundle the two together. Not necessarily like product with product, but, product with a brand. When I personally feel like there's a Avowed coming out this year. Hellblade's coming out next month. Indiana Jones. Why Halo? Halo's, maybe it's because it's like one of the most iconic Halo brands. But then again, it's not coming out anytime soon. I feel like they could have done this with a few things. So kind of makes me think that maybe there is a Halo coming in the horizon. Maybe not necessarily immediately, but there might be a Halo getting announced this year. And I just wanted to bring that to you guys that, this shows nothing really of concrete proof that this is going to happen. But I will say, in terms of when you're looking at what they chose to do this promotion with on Twitter, it is interesting that they chose to do Halo. So one thing I want to thank all you guys. You guys have been supporting me this year. I had like a really bad flu or COVID. I can't really tell you which one it was. Still was managed to make 3-4 videos this week. I appreciate everyone that came through them. I'm going to be streaming today at 5 p.m. Eastern on the 6th of April, I believe we're in. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. If you guys enjoyed it, you can always sub to the channel for weekly content. Follow me on Twitter at LordAddictILP. And then once again, I want to appreciate everyone coming through and sitting down and listening to me, man. And without any further ado, you guys have a good day. Peace. It's a crazy week. It's a crazy week.